Welcome back, everyone, to the Tower Project. Unfortunately, I am coming at you with a bit of a sour loss here. We just played this game for the tournament last night, and I'm still a little bit salty about it, to be perfectly honest. But I figured this would be the best one to bring to you guys because it has a lot of good plays and a lot of mistakes by both sides. So I thought this might be a good one to bring to you guys. And as you can see, it is a very long battle. Uh, so this is part of the Divine Right of Kings tournament, and this was the first of our two rounds. My team, Make Mortars Great Again, consisting of myself playing as Egypt, Lavernicus playing as Portugal, and Granticus playing as Denmark. And we are taking on Sending the Artillery Crew with Wafflez, Arm Wafflez playing as Spain, and Arm How Do You Do under the name Paladin here playing as Venice. So just a little bit of background before the game. We were thinking, well, this is the tournament maps and everything and castles are decided randomly, and so we've got the Middle Eastern castle and we got Palm Beach. So units that have the combat bonus in the desert are going to get that combat bonus on this map, and that may not happen again. So I figured it would be a great time to play as a desert faction. So I picked Egypt, which, if you've played Medieval 2 a lot, you probably know that comparatively Egypt is not a very strong, not a very strong siege faction, to say the least. And then for a little bit of assurance, we had Lavernicus take Portugal, which we were hoping would be enough just to kind of guarantee us the win with him going Portugal. And then Granticus decided to go Denmark because we thought we should save our better factions for defending and for other games. So we picked two really bad factions. Denmark has good infantry, but they have no long-range crossbowmen. So that puts us at a huge disadvantage when it comes to missiles. And then the other thing we didn't expect is when we got to the game, our opponents chose basically the two best siege factions, Venice and Spain. So wasn't really expecting them to pick the absolute best factions, but they did. Because remember, in the tournament, you can only pick each faction once for each section of the tournament. So at least we were feeling like now that we lost, at least we lost with with bad factions, and we got them to use up good factions, as opposed to losing with good factions. So I'll go over the army comps very briefly here. So I brought 3 cavalry, which is allowed as Egypt and by the other Eastern factions. So I brought 1 general's bodyguard. I've got some desert cavalry, which get the desert bonus. And I've got the Bedouin camel riders just to scare off any horses. And I better let this play out at 6 speed because as you guys can see, it's absolutely crazy long. I brought 1 cannon, 4 desert archers, which also get the desert bonus. 4 Sudanese tribesmen, which get the desert bonus. And then I brought 4 Hashashiman, 2 Nafutans, and 2 Tarbadiera. So I felt like I had about as solid of an army as I could get. The only thing I might change now in hindsight, these light cavalry are really good for fending off cav rushes, as you'll see here when they start to happen. But once we get inside the city, they are not that useful at all. So I might have changed one of those out for a bodyguard in hindsight if I could. So let's drop it down to 2 speed here and jump over to Lavernicus, all the way over to Granticus here. So Grant brought a cannon, and he also brought a serpentine, which is allowed as Denmark. You get an extra artillery. Unfortunately, you'll see what happens to that serpentine, which we were kind of depending on to pound those guys in the center. And then he's got a bunch of infantry here, chivalric knights, feudal knights, 4 of each, a bunch of Norse swordsmen, and then 4 crossbowmen, and then 2 generals bodyguard. Over on the Portuguese side, Lavernicus bringing 2 generals bodyguard himself, and gets a really nice rout off on these Jeannettes here, but a lot of them are going to run away. They were trying to go after the cannon, but they only got 4 operators. He did bring 2 basilisks, so we assigned Lavernicus kind of the artillery for the team. And then he brought 3 pike militia, maybe 4, you might have a 4th, and then 4 conquistadors, I believe 5 Pevis crossbowmen, a musketeer, and then some swordsman militia. And our opponents brought 2 cavalry each, Spain bringing 2 Jeannettes, and Venice bringing 2 Stratiots, which they are going to use to cav rush us, which they very much should. But thankfully, as you guys will see, the initial cav rush may or may not work out super well for them. The hard part of this is going to be hacking through all this Venetian heavy infantry, chivalric knights, and all the Spanish conquistadors that are on the field. Along with the fact they have a bunch of Pavis crossbowmen, 2 mortars, and a musketeer each. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's only so much a Sudanese tribesman can do. Even with the desert bonus, they're still Sudanese tribesmen. But we'll do the best we can. So let's see about getting this on a 3x speed here for you guys. So my cannons are starting to make some good holes in the wall here. I was initially thinking that I would come through over on this corner, but a couple of the walls can't be destroyed that you'd think could. And they had a pretty sparse defense on the front wall. Only about 4-5 units defending this section here. Now, they are going to start moving units up when we get close, but I figured I would just come straight through here if I could get a couple of the towers down. And Lavernicus going for the towers first here. Grant doing really good with his cannon. However, they are starting to deploy their mortars against Grant. And so he's going to have to spread out here very quickly before they get a lot of damage done. Actually, they haven't quite moved him towards yet. They haven't quite moved the mortars towards him yet, but they will be doing that very shortly. Now, I thought I put it on 3x speed and it went back to 1. Let's try leaving it on 2 here. So here comes the big cav rush against me. So my archers are going to get some really nice shots off on these Jeannettes and start dropping them down pretty good. The Strads are going to try to come around this side, and I'm sorry for the screen rate drop. That's because all of the walls are falling down, so there's nothing I can do about that. That's the game's engine. There's those falling walls. So you can see my desert archers just kind of sitting back here, taking some shots. I'm trying to screen out those Stratiots with the desert cavalry. And I got the Bedouin camel riders over here as well. Now, he is going to try to go for a charge here with those Jeannettes. And we've got some Steam notifications going on. Say hi, Charles. He's talking to me about the tournament, so... You know, turning off Steam notifications during your recording session is pretty much for noobs, so I don't do that, so just be advised if you message me while you see me playing Medieval 2, you may be subject to being aired live on YouTube, so say hi, careless. So, this is the nice thing about those Bedouin camel riders, is they basically instant routed these Stratiots, even though they had experienced chevrons on them. The problem is, after this initial sally, I'm really not going to be able to get a whole lot of use out of them, and my archers and everything are just pelting those Stratiots with arrows. So, I mean, the initial cavalry engagement went very well for us. 1% of our team dead, 4% of the enemy team dead. So, we were feeling really confident at this point. We just kind of beaten the crud out of their cavalry. And it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out, guys. I will say this. It is very, very close. And I guess I already said I was really salty about it. So that probably gives you a hint that I did not. That we're not going to end up winning this battle. But I think it is worth showing to you guys from the content that it contains. Even if it hurts me a little bit on the inside. Hurts me a lot on the inside, actually. I've been hurting a lot on the inside since last night. So just here, let me put it on 6x speed. We'll get you guys through this bombardment phase here. Now they are running their cavalry all over the map here. And I've got kind of an advanced position up here because my cannon, whenever anyone is attacking me when I'm defending, their cannons never miss a shot. But whenever I'm attacking, my artillery has maybe a 30% accuracy rate. I mean, it's really pretty weird that basically my cannons never, especially with towers, my cannons never seem to be able to hit towers. But whenever anyone is playing against me and I'm defending, their artillery never misses a shot. So, anyway, there's more of me being salty. I got to try to contain it here, guys. Have those mortars moved up to start shooting Grant yet? It does not appear that they have. They will be bombarding Grant with those mortars here fairly soon. As you can see, we are a little bit over a fifth of the way through the battle now. Getting close to a fourth of the way through. And let's get it back on the 6 times speed here. We got to make some progress through this Videho. It's basically, at this point, the cavalry rushes are pretty much shut down. So the tactic that the ARM team used was very interesting. It's a very sparsely populated defense, and they really focused at the end on defending this back wall, on keeping Pavis up on this back wall to defend the square. And these guys were absolutely brutal at the end because you have the towers firing, and you have the Pavis firing, and you have these towers firing. So that's one of the big advantages at the Middle Eastern Castle is this back wall. And it's really hard to attack from this back wall because if you screen down here to your deployment zone, you can see there's just an absolute huge hill here. And there's not really good Pavis angles. And there's really good, not very good Pavis angles for you as an attacker. And they're really good Pavis angles for the defenders. So it's a pretty hard attack to assault this back wall directly. But if you leave it unattacked, it can really, really hurt at the end of the game if they've got 2 units of Pavis crossbowmen with full ammo who are totally fresh. And the percentages are really, really close. So we do what we can. They do what they can. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, right, guys? Towers continuing to come down, walls continuing to come down. Still no mortar fire against Grant. I felt like it happened earlier. Oh yeah, they've been firing. Look at all them dead siege towers. However, they have not killed very many of Grant's men. And you can see it's still 2 to 4%. So they killed 1% of 1% more of us. But they did destroy a lot of Grant's siege towers with those mortars, which make it a lot harder to move up and fight. And you get shot a lot more when you don't have siege towers. So I kind of moved up my cannon a little bit to try to get him to waste some ammo. Now these guys here, these are going to be my MVPs for this game. The mighty, the indomitable Sudanese tribesmen. The nice thing about these guys, you get 60 men in each unit, as opposed to a standard heavy infantry unit like the Tarbediera where you get 48. You get 60 of the Sudanese tribesmen. And they do have 13 attacks, so the same attack as a feudal knight. But they pretty much have no defense besides their shield. They are considered light infantry, so they're very fast. They're the same speed as most of the Aztec infantry. So one thing that's really nice with the Sudanese tribesmen if an enemy unit starts trying to retreat from melee, they can really just stab them in the back while they're trying to run away. That does work pretty well. Now Grant's up here kind of skirmishing with his cavalry because they keep running their muskets out, trying to skirmish at Grant and get shots off at Grant. And you can see where they've gotten just a few little hits here. Still 2% to 4%. And none of us have really moved up yet. And we're a little bit over a third of the way through the battle here. Oh, we have some action over here on my side. This is actually pretty cool because he charges his Jeanettes into my Desert Cavalry thinking that he will win. But my Desert Cavalry gets such a big bonus in the desert that we actually beat the Jeanettes pretty handedly. And I sent in the artillery crew to help win the fight, which we were joking about a lot in the game because their team's name is Send in the Artillery Crew, and I beat their cavalry by sending in the artillery crew. So that was pretty funny. But the Desert Cavalry destroying those Jeanettes, I was very happy with that. Here you can see they really gave them the desert shank there over the sand. But so at this point, most of their cavalry is dead. They got a couple of Stratiots left over here. And unfortunately, these Stratiots do have a role still to play in the battle. More of a role than I would have liked them to play. So you can see they're running their muskets around, trying to get shots off on us. But I'm deployed very, very far back here. So here he's got his crossbow. He's going to move his crossbowmen around on this wall a lot during the battle. Some pretty interesting formations going on with these crossbowmen. I guess these guys could shoot back that way, and then these guys could shoot over that way. Not sure about that. Maybe he's trying to get him to be able to shoot across and forward. Not sure what the plan with that is. So at this point, my cannon is out of ammo. I managed to get 5 holes and 1 tower. Was what I was able to get with my entire, with all of my cannon ammo. Shooting pretty close. I mean, they got up to about here. But, and this is Lavernicus' basilisks that are crossfiring over here. Shooting at that tower. Sometimes you just have those games where your cannons don't hit anything, and some of us have those games a lot more than others, and I am one of them. At least it feels that way. Oh, there's those muskets shooting out here. Taking some pod shots at Grant's cavalry and sniping, it looks like 3 horses. The muskets are getting pretty tired, though, because he keeps running them back and forth. And remember, this is a desert map, so all of these European factions, everybody but me, is going to get very tired very quickly. And that's one thing I'll show you guys as we get close to the end of the battle. You'll see that everybody else's units are exhausted, and mine are still fresh, even though mine have been running around just as much as theirs are. So if we get on a desert map again, guys, the desert can be powerful. Don't underestimate the desert bonus. And in the same way, don't underestimate the combat bonus in snow or the combat bonus in woods as well if we get onto a wooded map. A lot of people, when they go into multiplayer, they don't really take that into account when they pick their factions. And it's a big mistake. Because it is a pretty heavy bonus. Basically, to my knowledge, what it does is it severely affects stamina. I don't know that it attacks, and it says combat bonus, so maybe it does have some melee and defense bonuses, but if it does, I'm not sure. What I do know that it does is units that have the desert bonus get severely improved stamina over units that do not have it. So the Sudanese tribesmen will be fresh for 10 times as long as a unit of feudal knights out here in the desert. Which makes sense if you're just wearing this as opposed to, metal and chainmail and a big shield and a full helmet. I mean, that stuff gets heavy, and out in, what is this, probably 150-degree weather here in the desert that we're looking at, it probably will get you tired very quickly, even if you're in good shape. So, Lavernicus is starting to move up a little bit. Grant is now down to 1 siege tower. They've destroyed all of his other siege towers. I'm not sure if they were shooting at them. They must have been. They must have been shooting for his siege towers, because they haven't killed very many infantry. We're still at 3% to 6% after I got that little cavalry engagement over there. Now, they're doing a pretty good job of hiding their units behind the walls, but right here is a really good spot to shoot through and get these units on the side, and we weren't really getting that. Yes, he can shoot down with those crossbowmen onto yours, but you can get yours in a loose formation here and absolutely pelt those units, and you'll take relatively few casualties, especially if they're in a formation like this. Maybe only 20 of these Pavis crossbowmen can actually get a good angle down there. So, and you'll be in loose formation. So that was a big mistake we didn't take advantage of, was getting that crossfire. We ended up just being too wary of getting shot by the Pavis crossbowmen, which I thought was a bit of a mistake. We also could have used ladders to get crossbowmen on this wall and fire down at those guys. We also made that mistake of not doing that as well. So, I mean, I've got no problem pointing out mistakes that I made, that our team made, because our goal is to get better at this game. And the only way you get better is by realizing your mistakes and addressing them and owning up to them. So, as much as I may be coming off as really salty right now, the objective is to get better at the game. And the people who are the best players, best athletes, best anything at anything, I will be the first to point out the mistakes they make and learn from them. So, I always have no problem pointing out my own mistakes and difficulties. And mistake number 1 was playing as I'm hesitant to say it was a mistake to play as Egypt, because they do so well with that desert bonus. But against Spain and Venice, I just don't think it was enough. So up here, I'm moving my Sudanese tribesmen up just to give my archers some melee cover so they can fire through the gaps at these feudal knights and chivalric knights. The issue here being that archers just don't have the armor piercing, and those knights have such good armor. I'll sit there and shoot at them, and I basically won't kill any of them, or I'll kill very few of them. So I'm getting some reasonably good angles here. This unit doesn't have anybody to fire at, but it could turn over here and shoot through. I'm sure I'll do that here. Now, here's another mistake I make. I get this archer unit up on the wall too early, and this crossbow unit is going to absolutely decimate them when they get up on that wall. And I'm going to make another big mistake here, trying to save them. And I'm going to basically lose 2 units of desert archers. And here you can see most of my archers are firing into the stone wall. What I was trying to get them to do was focus on the corner of this unit, but just because of the way the game works, they're basically shooting through the wall, which is not very good. So I'm losing a decent number of archers here to the towers that my cannon was not able to take down, and I'm not really killing a whole lot of infantry. So the percentages have started to close in here, 5% to 7%. But here Lav's got a really good angle with this Pavis crossbowman. He's doing that middle angle here, but he's not in loose formation, so he's getting some really great shots onto these chivalric knights, which is awesome. But he's going to start probably taking a little bit of damage from this Pavis crossbow, but I wouldn't have even been worried about that. I would have just kept shooting him, and if he moves them like that, he should be able to get up here and fire into those guys, get a little bit closer and fire at them. Let's run over here and check out how Grant is doing. Now, Grant is getting in here. He's getting really close a little bit quickly. They've got all these guys in the corners here. One thing we have going for us is this wall. He's got ladders up here, which you can run up and hopefully get to these crossbowmen. And then there should be some crossbowmen here firing through onto these guys. So Grant doing exactly what he needs to be doing there. Lav, it looks like his Pavis crossbowman took a little damage from some cavalry. And here's this big mistake that I'm making. So now I've got some Nafuton coming through here. I'm just trying to get my Nafuton to throw at these conquistadors while they're charging my desert archers. But he's going to see that because my desert archers were shooting over here and actually getting some good angles on those feudals. And I'm telling my Nafuton to run away. You can see the command that I'm giving him. I'm giving it to him for a while, and they just wouldn't run away. And now they're going to get caught by those conquistadors. I'm going to lose the majority of this Nafuton unit. So I'm going to run some Sudanese tribesmen in there just to try to plug the gap. But the Sudanese tribesmen obviously are going to get just absolutely butchered there in that gap. And then this happens. Those Jeannettes somehow managed to rout this whole unit of desert archers, mainly because he had so many units around here, so they got the flanking morale debuff. And so they basically, I lost an entire unit of archers there. I've almost lost an entire unit of archers here. And this unit already took some damage from the cavalry. So I've basically lost the majority of my archers at this point in the game. I've got one unit back here at fairly good strength. And then I've got this unit here. But I've lost 2 full units of archers and a good portion of my Nafuton. So some big early mistakes by me, costing our team pretty dearly. Now it's 13% to 11%. And here Lav is starting to take some good damage from those Pavis crossbowmen up on the wall. I think he's been skirmishing with them, which would definitely be a mistake in my opinion. I would have had them in loose formation right here, shooting through onto those muskets. But now we've got a little bit of success going. However, Granticus here is fighting in this big blob. They've got some guys up here guarding their crossbowmen. But Grant is going to get surrounded here by these Venetian knights. And this is not good. So he's getting some cavalry charge. He's trying to break through these knights here. But now he's got feudal knights coming in. And Grant is surrounded. Which is not good at all. Lav getting a good charge here. I'm even starting to send my cavalry over to try to help there. I've got my general's bodyguard going to send around that way. Just to try to help however I can. So now here's a good play that I made. I've got some Nafutons throwing up at his guys here that are exposed on the wall, but surprisingly, the Nafutons are not killing that many of them. Not as many as you expect because they've got the shield there braced against the Nafuton. And here comes the bad stuff. Grant's units are starting to break. He's got some crossbowmen here. I'm not sure what they're shooting at. Oh, they were broken. We broke this feudal knight here, which was good. But these chivalric knights are starting to hit them pretty hard. He's got some muskets here, and a bunch of Venetian forces are going to come in, and they're going to hit these crossbowmen. And that is not good. That is not good at all. So Lav and I are being a lot... And this was another mistake. Lav and I are being a lot more slow in our approach attacking the walls, and Grant has already gone in. And he's gone in unsupported, which is just... it's our team having really bad coordination in this game. And that's just a lack of practice on our part. So Grant's going to basically get surrounded and totally routed here, which is horrible. Horrible for our team, even though the percentages are staying pretty close, 24 to 24%. And this unit of crossbowmen is not firing, which they should definitely be firing at that chivalric knight there. So now I've got my desert archers getting some good shots on those feudal knights, but as you can see, they've managed to kill one guy so far. And I did manage to get a couple of kills on these knights with my Nafutons. And now I'm running some desert archers, so I'm just trying to skirmish around with him. One other thing I did is I moved one of my Sudanese tribesmen over here with a ladder, just trying to get a ladder up on this back wall so I can maybe get up and kill the crossbowmen. But I'm never going to get that good of an opportunity to do it. And this is where Grant's infantry kind of starts to break. They've already broken through a lot, and the last of his infantry is starting to run off here. He still has some left, but he took a big hit to his infantry with that move. And you can see that the dead there are vast majority Danish, with only a few Spanish and Venetian troops sprinkled throughout. So I've got some Sudanese tribesmen coming in, and we get a good little play off on these Venetian heavy infantry, we're going to manage to rout them. And soon these tribesmen are actually really good against Venetian heavy infantry because their armor-piercing bonus doesn't give them anything. Because the Sudanese tribesmen don't have any armor for them to get through. So they can actually do really well against Venetian heavy infantry. Now, I'm just starting to move up my siege towers here. It looks like the towers actually burn one of my siege towers down because there's a palm desert, so everything catches on fire really easily. And I'm getting a couple of good shots through here onto these knights, but I'm just not killing very many of them, and I'm using up pretty much all of my archers at this point. So now I've got some cavalry. I'm going to try to get some charges here off on these chivalric knights, but it just starts to be buggy, and my cavalry just doesn't get charges off. And there's another tower that gets burnt down. So, desert maps, always remember on desert maps, make sure you destroy the towers, because they'll burn your siege towers down very quickly. So now it's 30 to 29, so they've got a 1% advantage. And you can see that these knights are already exhausted. Most of Grant's army, actually, at this point, is pretty tired, or at least a good chunk of it. The Venetians are still doing pretty good. Some of his units are tired. I've got some that same unit of Sudanese tribesmen over here just trying to help out. Lav working on getting some Pavis crossbowmen up on the walls here. And I have still not really engaged with my army over here against Wafflez. And even after all that firing my desert archers have done, I still haven't killed any more of these feudal knights. They were at 40 the last time we looked, and I haven't killed any more of them. Towers are still firing at my guys. So as nice as those desert bonuses are, without armor-piercing missiles, it's really, really tough to do much. And this is where, so the Stratiots came out here. I think this is where they got the Serpentine, if I'm not mistaken. Where was that Serpentine anyway? I think we missed where they got the Serpentine. Oh, yeah. Yep, there's the whole Serpentine crew right there. So, yeah, the Stratiots came in and they killed our... He's only got 2 men left, so that's not enough to crew a Serpentine. So they got our Serp, which was really important for us to be able to blast the troops in the center. So that was a huge problem. Lav does have some crossbowmen up on the wall now, which will be doing really good. Shooting these Venetian troops up here. And he's doing a great job of doing just that. Again, still not moving up on my side because it'd be suicidal for me to try to attack this with my infantry. There's no reason to do it. So I'm helping my allies break through on their side to force a withdrawal and hopefully be able to come around and flank all their units, which is eventually going to be able to happen. That's another thing we need to work on as a team. We're just kind of rushing in there without planning very well. And Lav getting an absolute huge amount of kills over here on the wall. So great work to this Pavis crossbowman. And then I'm going to run some Sudanese tribesmen over here to help out. But if we could get some crossbowmen up on this wall too, we could start shooting down at those guys. Now it sounds like we've got some action out over here somewhere. I got the battle music going on, so something's got to be happening. Oh, that's right, my general. My general got a really nice charge here on some Venetian heavies, and I tried to rush him around in the square, but he didn't quite get that, and so now he's getting chased by these Venetian heavy infantry. But the Stratiots peel off at the last second, and so my general's bodyguard, which was basically full, is now down to 5 men, which was really not good at all. And here we have some conquistadors coming out. They're going to try to go for my archers here. And I don't really see this until the last second. because my micro was over there on my cavalry. So he's actually going to get a beautiful charge onto these Sudanese tribesmen, and they're pretty much going to break pretty quickly here probably. But my archers should be turning around and shooting these guys in the back, but there he routs my Sudanese tribesmen, and now he's going to start running towards these desert archers. And it's not until now that I see that and start moving one of my Tarbotiera over there. So my Sudanese tribesmen are going to come back. I'm running my desert cavalry over. He's going to run back inside. So that was definitely a little win for him while my micro was focused on my general over here. So now I got my general outside the walls. Some more Steam messages coming up. Asking about the rules of the tournament. I'll have to reply to those here. I'm just gonna say, let's see, go to VAR in here. Weather should be midday and summer, so it should be plain nice weather. There we go. All right. So the weather should basically look like you see in this video. Should be nice, plain weather. Lav's Pavis Crossbow are still over here doing a great job. They've done absolutely tremendous work over there. Great work to Lav with those Pavis Crossbowmen. But they're not really giving us a whole lot of other great angles here. Some cavalry coming. The Strad's coming to get these muskets. And I'm going to send my general to go help there, but I think we're going to end up getting rid of these Stradiots. We don't quite get all of them, but we do continue to cut their number down. Howdah doing an absolutely incredible job with those Stradiots. And I've got my Nafuton throwing onto these guys again here, although I am losing a couple of men. Oh, he's saying he got a sandstorm going. Yeah, just rehost in that case. Oh, great. Now Charles is asking the same question. So, again, I'm going to try to get another charge here. All right, Sandstorm, I just did what was in your round 3 layout and everything else the same. Just rehost for good weather. Say, I'm recording. Say hi. So we are getting some cavalry through the back walls here. I feel okay doing that because the vast majority of my subscribers are in the tournament or Medieval 2 players, so they know how it goes. So you're going to get a nice little charge off on these Chivalric Knights. Couple of units of... Oh, there goes the last of the Jeanettes there. Although he is going to get his Feudal Knights out here and catch me. And my general's going to start running around here getting some charges off. And so now we've got Wafflez surrounded here, which was a really good play on our part, getting our cavalry around, because now we've got this Spanish force basically surrounded. So here's what I was talking about with those Sudanese tribesmen. They can really cut them up pretty good as they're trying to run away. Although they actually did run away successfully that time. Just my luck, of course. But now I've got a couple Hashishim up here by the gate. I'm starting to move up a couple of my units here. I'm going to start the front wall engagement as we get more allied support. So at this point, we're actually leading on the percentages by 1%. My Sudanese tribesmen kept running through here, not obeying orders, of course. So there they get routed, because that's what happens when units don't obey orders. They get routed and killed. And he's going to probably try to run out here after my archers with those guys. Oh no, he's coming after my Hashishim here with those conquistadors. He's got some muskets up there firing down at my Sudanese tribesmen there, it looks like. So my Hashishim are doing good against the conquistadors. Their desert cavalry throwing some jabs at the conquistadors. You're going to get on those guys. And now I'm starting to really run some men up. to start handling this engagement here. And I should have my other unit of Nafutons coming up here very shortly. Where are the other? There they are. Yeah, I had them throwing at the Conquistadors here. And he's going to run around and try to get to my Nafs. So now they should be turning and focusing fire on this unit here. So there we managed to rout that unit. So there's the first of Waffles' units dead. And now we're going to be able to start engaging on this the inside of the first wall here now that we have some openings. So this is what I was waiting for. This is what I was being so patient for. It's just I was being kind of dumb skirmishing with my archers. I lost more than I should have. But now is the now we have a good opportunity to get through this first layer wall because I've got cavalry support from both sides here. So here Waffles is going to engage some Chivalric Knights. I got the Nafuton right here. He gets some beautiful shots on the back there. He's going to try to run through after my Nafuton here, but I got some Hashishim to block that. And the Nafutons were lighting them up pretty good. He's got some more units coming out here, which I'm going to double up with the Hashishim. So the Hashishim doing great work. And now, like I said, we've got cavalry unit coming around. I got another Hashishim running up on the walls here to kill that Pavis crossbowman. And now the Nafutons should be doing their work. And Hashishim are breaking through. And we're going to hit that unit of knights at the back. Come on, Nafs. And he keeps going for my archers. My Sunnites tribesmen getting in there, getting their swords wet. And they're actually doing pretty good against those feudal knights. And now we got the Nafs going off on these feudal knights. At least a couple of them. And those feudal knights break. Now, unfortunately, I believe my other unit of Nafutons has gotten killed at this point. Let's go over here and check out. So here we had a really good opportunity, but we just didn't take it in time. Grant could have come here, and we could have cut off this Venetian force, gotten some ladders up on this wall, taken those Pavis crossbowmen out. We would have taken some casualties, but we would have knocked all of that Venetian heavy infantry out pretty quickly. But here we got a huge rout off on Waffles, and we're just going to cut down those men in droves there. And at this point, we actually have almost a 10% percentage bonus. So we were feeling really confident in the attack at this point. And you can see the battle, we're about 2/3 of the way through now. However, the problem is, even though we have a percentage bonus that's fairly significant, pretty much all of our tools for killing the defenders have been taken out. We're out of artillery. I only have part of one unit of Nafutons left, and we only have maybe 2 or 3 units of Pavis crossbowmen, and they're all exhausted. And then, basically, we don't have any other tools, whereas the defenders, they still have muskets, they still have mortars, they still have Pavis crossbowmen aplenty. So, even though there's a percentage bonus, we've lost most of our tools that are needed for killing the defenders. And a little missed cavalry charge there by Grant. And this is pretty disastrous here. He's going to fight these Pavis crossbowmen, but he's actually going to take a rear charge there, and they're going to rout. His general gets a nice charge under the broken lances there. 45-55, so now a true 10% advantage at this point. However, these Pavis crossbowmen are going to start doing some devastating work on us. And this was a really bad engagement. They are going to absolutely murderize these units from that position on the wall. So that definitely not a very good engagement for us. I do have a couple of Hashishim here. I'm going to see that. I'm going to start running away before I get shot to death. Because with how small my army is that's left, mainly just because of the numbers of Hashishim, I really can't afford to take a lot of casualties. So I just have this unit of Nafutons, which are actually at full strength still, 16 men. I thought they were only partial. But I do take I'm going to take a volley on my Tarbedier there, but then I'm going to get out. But this is really bad for us. Grant gets mass routed again, and all of his infantry break. And just that right there puts it to a 7% difference, and probably 6 after these units rout off, after some of these units rout off that don't come back. So they have a really nice corner defense set up here, and this is really where we needed that serpentine, but we just didn't have it. And we didn't. What we needed to do was get some men around to grab some ladders and get some ladders up on this wall to take down these crossbowmen from the back, because they've got such a commanding position here on this hill. And we can't really attack this way, because if we go to the center, these Pavis crossbowmen on the wall are going to butcher anything that we send through. So we were pretty well forced to attack this position. And again, we can't really flank around this way, because any units that are in this area are just going to get shredded by this crossbowmen, by their muskets that they have. They really had, because of the fact that they killed all of our important tools, our cavalry, our artillery, our serpentine, they really got us in a really bad position. Now, Lev has a couple muskets, but he's just not going to be able to get them to the place where they outrange these Pavis crossbowmen because of that wall advantage. Now, what he could have done is gotten his muskets over to here and shot at the Pavis crossbowmen from that angle, but it would have been a long way around, and he is eventually going to get some Pavis up here. But like I said, we have very few Pavis crossbowmen left. We have this unit of 22, and we have that unit of 22. Oh, geez. Do we have any other Pavis crossbowmen left? We also have this unit of 24, and I think that is it. I think we have a unit of 20. No, we have a unit of 17 there. So we have 3 beat-up units of Pavis crossbowmen left. And I have like 17 Desert Archers left somewhere. Yeah, not even. I have 7, not even 17. I have 7 Desert Archers left. I've got the remnants of my general here. Now, I was able to get my Sudanese tribesmen up here on the back of this wall with relatively few casualties. However, what I should have done is gotten that ladder up to here. Now they've got 3 units of Pavis crossbowmen on the back of this wall. Jeez. So at this point, we were kind of like, all right, guys, we just need to regroup. Let's figure out a strategy. Geez, now it's only a 5% difference because we've been getting shot pretty good. So we're trying to figure out what to do. But in hindsight, losing that, and now they're mortaring us. In hindsight, losing that serpentine was really bad. Now, we are managing to shoot a couple of those feudal knights with the muskets and stay out of range of the crossbowmen, so that's good. So what we needed to do at this point that we didn't do is just slow down, take our time, and really nitpick this defense and pick our engagements very carefully. But instead, we're going to kind of rush in there too much, and that's going to not help us at all. So here we got a little cab charge coming in on the muskets. So they do get a nice little charge there. Unfortunately, the cavalry is going to rout after only killing a handful of muskets, which I don't. That's the issue when they have a bunch of units together like this, is they can rout units very quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and 6 times speed it just for a little bit here. And here's Lav doing what I said he ought to do, getting some crossbowmen up here, and they are going to be in range of those Pavis crossbowmen, but they're pretty well outnumbered, unfortunately. Though at this point, I'm able to get a really good move in. I'm going to be able to get my Sudanese... I'm having Grant rush his cavalry in just to distract him. And then I'm going to be able to get my Sudanese tribesmen up, and we're finally going to be able to kill this crossbow unit. So that was a great little move there, but then we don't have enough infantry up in time. And he's going to get his feudal knights up onto this wall. I got some Hashishim cutting through these broken lances At this point, that we're back up to an 8% lead. So now he's got his feudal knights coming out here. I ran my Sudanese over here to the corner so they wouldn't just get bunched up here. So now he's got to actually fight through them. And these muskets up here on this hill are going to not be very kind to us whatsoever. But I'm going to get some good Nafutan work here from that corner, and we're going to be able to break these broken lances pretty quickly. So my Hashishim and Nafutans working really, really well together to get some great kills. And Grant going to get some feudal knights up here to help us break those feudal knights, the Venetian feudal knights, and then we're going to be able to take control of this wall. But again, bad coordination. We're not going to capitalize on that effort, and we're not going to be able to fully take control of this wall, which would have allowed us to win this engagement and push his men back to the center with probably an 8 to 10% advantage. So bad coordination prevented us from doing that. My Hashishim cutting through some Pavis, which are almost certainly out of ammo. And I've got some Pavis I'm trying to run back here to catch those guys, and he just got hit by his own mortars. Or actually, that might have been, that was actually probably one of our Basilisk shots. So a big rout on the Venetians. I know it looks like everything's going great for us right now. But this is when we should have a bunch of infantry moving up and capturing this wall and taking control of this wall, but we don't do that. Our armies stay sitting back here. We don't move up. We don't take control of this wall. And then the defenders are going to capitalize on the fact that we don't put infantry up to secure this wall. So now I've got my Hashishim fighting here against more broken lances. This one unit of Hashishim doing tremendous work. And I'm getting my Sudanese tribesmen. So see, you can see my Sudanese tribesmen, they've been running all over the place, and they're just now winded when these guys are all exhausted. Now the defending units are a lot more fresh because they've been sitting back here. But this is when we should be using that cannon if it has any ammo left. It looks like he must have missed. But if we could have shot this Venetian heavy infantry unit there, that would have been really, really nice. But here you can see a couple units of, just broken Spanish conquistadors are going to get up there, and they're going to cut through those feudal knights pretty quickly. And I'm trying to get my Nafutans off the wall right now. Or at least get them over to here. But they're not going to be able to shoot down at the enemy from there. So, again, we should have this unit of Pavis crossbowmen. They're doing a good job firing down here. And that Basilisk gets a nice little shot, but it's not enough to break these Venetians. So my Hashishim have only lost 5 men in that whole course of time. And they really cut through a lot of these broken lances and even some Venetian heavy infantry. So I've gotten my Nafutans off the wall, and I'm going to try to get them to a good firing position. But they're just not going to get a good angle here. And then I'm going to make a really bad move with my Nafutans. Because at this point, we were all saying, guys, we need to move infantry up. We need to move infantry up to this fight. Get them up to this fight so we can protect the wall. But no infantry comes, unfortunately. Nice little fight here on the walls for you guys. It looks like Grant's feudal knights are probably losing that. But I'm getting... My Nafutans aren't actually firing here, unfortunately. And Grant's cavalry gets cut down by those Venetians there, which is not good. So at this point, I'm going to try to send my Sudanese tribesmen up here to catch those Spanish units. And now we're down to a 7%. No, we're up to a 9% advantage now. So again, everything's looking like it should be going good for us. Those mortars starting to come in, but here is that move on my part. I thought infantry was going to come up to secure this location. But my Nafutans get up on the wall here. They start getting shot by those Pavis crossbowmen. And I have my Sudanese tribesmen. I'm trying to tie these knights down. But he's actually going to run his knights over this way. I'm going to run my Nafutans down here try to get him out of that fight. But look at this. He's got conquistadors coming to cut off my Nafutans. And so now my escape is cut off because there's no infantry sent up here. I have my Hashishim running, trying to get there in time, but my Nafutans get cut off. And that is going to be the end of our tools to kill these defenders with. So at this point, our toolbox is empty. We don't really have any long-range missiles yet left. We don't have a Serpentine. We don't have our Nafutans. And they have a bunch of archers and muskets and heavy infantry still left. So again, even though percentages are in our favor and have been in our favor, it's just not going to be enough. Now, I do get a little good move with my Hashishim here. Going to get back into these archers.
Only half our force remains.
However, by some odd way, my Hashishim only killed 2 men on that charge, which anytime my crossbowmen ever get charged like that, I lose like 30 of them on the charge instantly. But anytime I charge someone else's crossbowman like that, they kill 2 of them and everybody else gets away. So there's that salt coming back again. But so now we're in this big fight for the wall that we did not need to be in whatsoever. We should have kept control of this wall, and now they got a bunch of conquistadors up there fighting. So unfortunately, just really bad positioning for us. And my Hashishim, they're killing a lot of these Venetians, or some of them at least, but they are getting cut down. Those Venetian heavy infantry are pretty tough units, even for Hashishim to cut through. So now we've got conquistadors coming up the other way, so we are going to sandwich these troops in. And there goes Grant's general, which is not good. That's going to really pretty much kill his morale. So now I'm moving up the Bedouin camel riders over here. Just trying to get any morale damage I can get and get me shots off with my missiles that I can get up over this hill. I'm going to start shooting at his musketeers with my Bedouin camels as they kind of get into formation here. And the Hashishim are still just grinding it out with these Venetian heavy infantry. So I'm going to get a couple good shots off on these muskets. But they're undoubtedly shooting up here, and we're just losing a ton of conquistadors on this wall. That was a really, really not a good engagement for us. And so now the percentages are only 6 points apart. So they're starting to even out as we just make mistake after mistake here at this point. This was a bad engagement. This was a bad engagement. Losing our general. Losing the Nafutans. Just mistake after mistake starts to bring the battle closer and closer to our enemy's victory. And again, somehow this Pavis crossbowman, which had been up on the walls, getting cut down by conquistadors, manages to run away with almost half of its unit intact. I've never in my life had a Pavis crossbowman be able to do that. To run up on the walls in melee, get routed by conquistadors, and then run back down through a melee and get out with almost half of its unit left. That is pretty insane. So we do win this wall fight, but it's very costly for us. Only a 5% percentage difference now, and my Hashishim are almost expended. I've expended most of my Hashishim here fighting these Venetian heavy infantry. And while we're killing a good number of them, it's just not going to be enough. They're killing a lot of my Hashishim too. It's a good engagement for those Venetian heavies. Oh, it hurts even watching this part. So now I'm trying to get my Sudanese tribesmen back here to fight these Pavis crossbowmen, but the morale is just not going to hold. We should be able to rout this pocket of Venetians here. We should be able to rout this whole pocket of units. I'm working on getting my Bedouin camel riders over and behind, but they're going to start focusing their Pavis crossbowmen on my Bedouin camel riders. And I try to go for these crossbowmen here. And again, all of these units should be up here supporting us. We're just not coordinating very well. I'm going to continue to try to get my camels into those muskets, but they break. Still a full unit of conquistadors back here. 2 mortars with ammo left, and 2 full units of Pavis crossbowmen up on this wall. 2 full units of conquistadors left. 1 with the general in it, so now at this point, there's only a 4% difference. And these conquistadors are getting shredded. They got turned the wrong way, and so now they're getting shot in the back. Again, just more mistakes, more bad engagements on our part, costing us dearly. And now the Sudanese tribesmen, which are still fresh, look, these Venetian heavy infantry are very tired. Sudanese tribesmen, which have been fighting the whole time, still fresh. They actually are going to kill a good number of these Venetian heavy infantry. The Sudanese tribesmen paying their dues, but they rout, unfortunately. And now the Tarbaty coming in. Those are my last 2 units, basically. I got 1 unit of healthy Sudanese tribesmen, but we've got some swordsman militia coming up. Going to try to fight. Oh, but they get charged by the Venetian heavy infantry, and that is not going to go over well. And Grant's crossbowman, because his general is dead, he just doesn't have any morale left to fight. And then they break this big conglomerate of our troops because everybody's exhausted. The Tarbaty get in here. And they're a good unit, but they're still two-handed, so they still suffer from that glitch in vanilla. There's only going to be so much they can do. Crossbowmen over here, which should be setting up and shooting right now. I have no idea what these crossbowmen are doing over here. And they are, looks like, just going to get routed. Victory is well within our grasp, apparently, but there's only a 2 percentage point difference. Now, the Tarbaty actually are kind of winning this engagement here, and they're going to get a charge into the back of these conquistadors, so a really good move on my part, really good play by the Tarbaty. They're going to get a huge charge onto these guys. They're still going to get killed because, you know, they're two-handed units, but they are going to kill a lot more than they otherwise would. Bringing that conquistador unit down about 10 men off of that charge, but that Tarbaty unit just... Oh, and we killed the general. Yeah, so really good move by those Tarbaty. So I thought for a second there that might bring some hope back to us, but at this point, all I really have left is this 1 unit of Tarbaty, a couple units of 4 desert cavalry, my general's bodyguard, and this unit of Sudanese tribesmen. And there goes the last of my Tarbaty. And now they're going to get up on the wall to hit these Pavis crossbowmen. And a lot of what we had left were these pike militia. So the percentages were inflated, but again, all of our useful units, they'd been able to kill pretty effectively. And so the pikemen are doing a good job forming the pike line here. And we've got some swordsman militia coming in to help. And the Tarbaty get another good attack in there, breaking those Venetian heavy infantry. And we should be swooping around here to get those conquistadors now. But I'm going to charge them in here because if I swooped around to hit those conquistadors, I would just get shot to death by these units here. So the best move for me at this point is to charge through and hit those guys. Sorry for the voice clearing. It's a long battle, so it's a lot of voice to use. So Tarbaty going to get a good engagement here on those archers, and we're actually going to break those muskets. And now I've got my bodyguard coming in to support, and I'm telling him, rush up the infantry now, guys. Rush up the infantry now to support me in this fight. But my Sudanese tribesmen get hit by these conquistadors, and they are getting absolutely butchered by them, which they are Sudanese tribesmen. They're not they're not feudal knights, or they're $300 light infantry with no armor. So those muskets are starting to hurt my Tarbadiera, their morale. I do still have my general alive. We rout those Pavis crossbowmen, which is good, and one of the mortar crews comes in there. But those muskets are just going to do too much morale damage. And then the Pavis crossbowmen are going to start shredding my Tarbadiera here. And there they go. They break, and they break into the conquistadors. So that was disastrous, and now they're fighting to the death. Oh, I can't take it anymore, guys. And now my general is going to try to charge in, but he gets shot by those crossbowmen. Oh, no. The general gets killed by those Pavis crossbowmen on the walls. And at this point, there's only 1 percentage point difference. And all I have left, I have this 1 unit of bodyguard that's not even my general. I have a routing Sudanese tribesman. I have my cannon crew and my 7 desert archers. And that is all that I have left at this point. My desert cav, all this, none of this is going to come back. And I tried to get my Bedouin camel riders around, but they got instant routed too. Even though they're fresh. Oh, man. So at this point, we can see the writing on the wall. So, but we haven't given up. We're still going to try to skirmish, but these crossbowmen on the wall are just, they're in such an optimal position. There's really just not much we can do. And our units are exhausted. Most of our generals are dead. We just don't have the morale left to beat their army. And they still have a pretty healthy unit, 28 conquistadors. So it's 88 to 89. We still have that 1 percentage point, but our units are going to keep getting routed. And these Pavis crossbowmen are not firing. This one, it looks like, is out of ammo. This one is trying to fire, but it's moving now. Now here I'm going with my bodyguard unit. I actually get a good charge on those muskets. I kill 2 of them. I kill the 3rd. I'm trying to go for the crossbowman. And watch it. Those Pavis crossbowmen are going to come from the walls. And he is going to get absolute... Oh, he survived that volley. Now he's going to... Oh, there he goes. Yeah, he got sniped. But what are you going to do? So now I've got my 7 desert archers up here. I'm going to try to get them... I'm going to move them to this spot and start firing. And so now we charge in what's left of our infantry, but those archers on the wall, combined with the muskets, just instantly break all of it. Oh. And there go my desert archers. So now all I have left is my cannon crew, and I'm going to have to send in the artillery crew against send in the artillery crew. Some good shots by the Pavis there. So, I mean, it's 91 to 92, so we're only losing by 1 percentage point. And every time they come out of the center, they get routed. So, the situation, it's pretty bad, but maybe it's not as bad as it looks. So, I mean, we are killing some of them. We are killing some of them. But they just have so many crossbowmen left. Now, if we still had some ammo left in our cannons, we could destroy these towers. We could even shoot these walls that the Pavis are on. But he still has mortars that are firing. He's still got a couple units of conquistadors left. Very beat up ones, albeit. And these Pavis crossbowmen are out of ammo here. And Grant's crossbowmen start breaking. They just can't take the combined fire from the muskets and the Pavis on the wall and everything. So we charge in here, and the swordsman militia actually start kind of getting killed by the Pavis crossbowmen. And they are going to start routing here very quickly. And that basically is going to seal the deal for us. I'm going to go ahead and 6 times speed it for the rest of the battle. Yeah. Again, just... Oh, and I do send in my cannon crew here against the Pavis crossbowmen, and they actually do kill a good... They're actually kind of wrecking these Pavis crossbowmen. But now they're going to get charged in the back and routed. So that ends the battle, and oh man, it was a bitter day, Mr. Announcer. So I did what I could with Egypt. I got about 600. I got a little under 700 kills when you count casualties captured. Lavernicus getting about 500, a little over 500. Grant getting right at 400, but Howdah getting 1,000, 1,100. Almost 1,200 kills. Absolutely insane. And then Wafflez getting about getting a little shy of 1,000, about 800-900 there. So I did what I could with Egypt, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. We didn't have the Pavis crossbow. We didn't have the Serpentines. We didn't have the heavy infantry. We didn't have the right tools to beat such powerful factions. Let me show you the statistics here that I have. So my bodyguard got 54 kills, which was okay, not great. My Hashishim, one of them got 66, the other one got 52. So my Hashishim did pretty good, although one of them only got 16 kills. That's not very good. The other one only getting 23. The Nafutans didn't do great. And the Tarbadiera didn't do great either. Sudanese tribesmen doing okay, but at the end of the day, none of my units really did fantastic there. A lot of them did okay, but nothing really did amazing. So very, very well played to the ARM team. And a lot of mistakes made on our end that we've got to work on as a team. A lot of good moves there for you guys to see with cavalry and infantry and everything. So hope you guys enjoyed this battle. I'm almost certain you enjoyed this battle far, far more than I did. Even if you hate this video, you enjoyed this battle more than I did. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time on the Tower Project. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.